Hola.
Hola. Yes.
In Spanish now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't speak Spanish, so
¿Cómo estás?
yeah, okay. I understand that one. Welcome.
Thank you.
You just had a session. Could you shortly introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm WeiWi. I'm working at Google for the GA360 product, and I'm the solutions lead on GA360 for the Benelux.
Yeah, and you just had a keynote.
Yes.
Before or after lunch? After lunch, that's better.
After lunch. You don't want to be the one, sitting between you.
Exactly.
Lunch and the audience.
Your session was about, I think, very relevant and something a lot of us might be a bit scary or scared about, or maybe
Trying to handle over the last year.
Yeah, or just blocking and ignoring. Acting on your analytics data in an increasingly cookieless world.
Yes.
So please tell us about that.
I think I was 3 weeks ago on the Demexco, and half of the sessions actually was about cookieless world.
Oh,
and
really?
I think it's a very relevant topic right now, especially since the launch of the new ETP and ITP. So I think this is why this topic might be relevant for people and they could be interested in. So this is the reason why we chose this.
Yeah.
And but still, I mean, we want to still be relevant to the user, and that's Google always puts the user first.
Yep.
So in my keynote, I wanted to open up new ideas for what you can do still to be relevant to the user, and relevant in a way that you can still do something. And the worst would be like going back to the 80s and just have untailored messages shouting at you, right?
Yeah. Well, the MOA, the organization behind the conference today, they're already 80 years old. So
Okay.
they already existed before we had internet.
I didn't know about that.
No, I learned that today too.
Okay. And what did they do 80 years ago? And what was the vision?
Well, it's marketing insights, research, and analytics. So
80 years ago?
more in general. Yeah, but more like for magazines or for companies doing marketing in general, of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course, we'll have the luxury today that we have much more data.
You just forget about this, like that advertising also existed offline
There
in the
was a
1950s, and
yeah, we didn't invent A/B testing online.
No.
They already did that before with magazines, and
I just came out of I forget he was doing the session here just right now, and she's saying about how old people actually also do buy online, and that you don't wrap your head around. But her 90-year-old mother is actually ordering clothes online and tries them on, and I was like, actually, why not? Like, makes sense, right? You don't. You're not so flexible anymore. You don't so
exactly
physically.
Perfect.
So this is not a typical bucket group you think of people who are using online and going online shopping. So I was very refreshing to have the thought.
Yeah, that's a great example. So today, of course, we talk about women in analytics is also a topic today, and diversity. It's a great topic again for a segment of your users that you might not think of, which might be very relevant to
it's
look
like
at.
not only closing the gender gap, but also the age gap.
Gender is just one of the dimensions you can score people on, but there are a lot of. We spoke about age. When you're in e-commerce, there's probably a big difference between people that already did a purchase, already are clients, or are still exploring. We spoke to Transavia airline, trying to create a different experience for people that bought something, bought a ticket, or people that they already bought a ticket and they're leaving in 2 days. They probably want a different experience. They want to check in or something, or
if physical shops are near you, there's so many ways to segment and to make sure that you have the right audience and you're not biased in any way.
Exactly.
Yeah, again, the relevance for the user and
Yeah. So back to your talk. How do we create that relevance in a more and more cookieless world?
So there's I try to spot like the easy opportunities, like the low-hanging fruits. Easy solutions would be go through Google Audiences, where you have already audiences built. You can just easily select them, demographics, affinity in market. Then, of course, you can use your first-party data. So the best way to measure anyway is that you use tools which put cookies on the same domain as your own website, right? So the so-called first-party data, and they are also less affected by the changes, the legal and technical changes, than the third-party cookies. And the third one actually is about cloud solutions and what other signals you can use, which are out of the box thinking. So we had some case studies shown up there where, for example, you can use, there's a great case study which actually won also a Bronze Lion in Cannes this year, the TerraFlu tracker. So it's they used a lot of data from medical institutes. They had weather data, social data, search data, and a lot of data points. They could create basically a model which predicted in which one of the 32 different districts in Mexico the flu will break out, and show relevant ads in that region with the temperature, with the likelihood of.
That's
and
awesome.
It's awesome because it is taking data points outside of the cookie world, but then how powerful is that you see, even in a moment where you get sick or even before you get sick, like it predicts already that this ad could be relevant for you, right? So, and using machine learning, which is the Google Cloud machine learning, which can predict this, and then use GMP, the Google Marketing Platform, to actually activate on that. So, for example, having dynamic creatives where it puts automatically different parts of the creatives. For example, the background of the city you are in, the temperature you are facing right now, using different elements of that in one creative, and doing, I think it was 250 different versions of the ad with a very low budget. I think the whole campaign was only costing 200K, which is very, very low on cost. And if you think about this kind of solution, 5 years ago it cost probably 10 times, because there wasn't anything like that before. And this easy pieces of Google Cloud Platform together with the Google Marketing Platform, I think this is very powerful, because just the machine power behind that, just this. If you think about this kind of things, 10 years ago people said, "Oh, it's the future," but it's not possible yet. And we are in the future now, where this kind of things are possible, and it's even very easy to start with. So I think this is the last piece which I talked about in terms of solutions, so cloud solutions, or using Google Cloud API, Vision API, where we can, for example, we had a case study with Unilever in Indonesia that during Ramadan they were looking at all the pictures in Instagram, and they looked at the different products like food, and they could use the most popular food directly in their ad creatives, and saying, "You're looking for velvet cookies, here we have a good recipe for you." And I think this kind of things is very powerful, because it uses much more data from the outside world, and not relying too much on the cookie-based data.
Yep.
And also, I think one important part, if you look at the future, and we talk about the future in the sense of how can technology help me staying relevant to user, how can I still measure, plan, optimize on data, then we definitely need to also talk about the new app and web properties in Google. So I also showed a bit of what we can do. It's an open beta, so we encourage everyone to use that and to give us feedback also. And this is also something which we really invest a lot into from the Google Analytics side. So this is definitely our vision of the future, and we will also look into this much more in 2020. So I showed also a couple of features we're planning. It's like a bit of roadmap. We're planning what we can expect 2020 to bring for the app and web properties. So this was also definitely a topic at the end of my keynote.
Cool. And does it also integrate in some way with YouTube?
It will integrate with, so we are building that product upon Firebase modeling, and everything we have in the product right now, we try to also bring into the new product. So whatever we have on, GA Classic on the web and on Firebase for app, we know which features are popular, which are needed. We will also definitely looking into the integration of all those products into the new app and web properties. For example, next year we have it we plan definitely to bring in e-commerce. The integration with DV360, SA360 CM is definitely also in the plans of the next 2 years. And we're gonna look into BigQuery integration. We will talk about SLAs and all of this. So it's very exciting to be part of the whole story, and to see what the future brings.
Is there any known period for the beta? Is that ending? Is there
We just try to get as many people as possible on it now. So just have
to learn?
To learn, exactly. So also part of the new trend words are AI, machine learning, all of this.
Yeah.
But taking one step back, what is it actually? What is machine learning? What is AI? It can predict, it can make decisions, millions of decisions in a minute where you manually would probably not be able to do. And it learns through examples, right? But that therefore we need data, a lot of, and also not alone the quantity of data, but also the quality of data. So we need as many people as possible to just, try it out, and we can learn from that and make it better. And then that's where we are at the stage right now. So this is why it's an open beta. Everyone can just start on it.
No restrictions in how many visitors your site or shop needs, or
no, I just have the tagging in place, and also if you are doubting of what we can do, because you have already a very good property, on your web, or and you think about, okay, I don't want to retag. I mean, you can always do dual tagging. Dual tagging is what we recommend. So that's something where you can start off already. So that's available right now. So you can do it today, tomorrow.
Exactly. That's definitely something we all need to look in. And also we had just Prolet, another keynote speaker, telling us, this is going to be the future. So I don't know why everything, we should just ditch universal.
No, I mean, it's as I said, there's still some functionality lacking, so we know that. So this is why we don't say.
That's why it's a beta, right?
That's why it's a beta, exactly. So, for example, e-commerce is not there yet. So I think this is a big part of the strategy of a lot of clients, and that's definitely something which you should keep doing, and you should not throw away this. But the move which is upcoming, you should have it in the back of your mind. You should not forget about this, and if possible, start testing that out with like a small branch of your company, or with like a little subgroup of your business, because that is easier. If you do like already the first baby steps, then it's easier to at some point switch to that.
So 2020 sounds like a good year to take the first baby steps.
Definitely,
right?
yes. So 2020 is definitely a year of changes for Google as well.
Yeah, and we had several guests today talking about data quality, how important still that is for many companies. While we might feel we need to get out of that stage, we should get out of that stage.
But I think it's that way in a lot of digital fields. I mean, with search marketing, we also feel like we can do a lot of things, but still a lot of companies don't have the basics set up properly to get the maximum out of it. And I think Zero is no exception to that.
Yeah, and even previously or currently with Google Analytics Universal, you still need to manually add events, right? That might be partially resolved, at least with the new solution.
Yes.
But still, a lot of people using Universal. Yeah, you still need to some manual work if you want to measure what's relevant for you and how to optimize for it. I mean, we have a podcast about optimization. You need to base that on
good
quality data.
Yes,
otherwise
definitely. But also just keep in mind, like the way we track with Google Analytics, it is a structure which has been over 10 years on the market. And at that moment when it was launched, there wasn't even an iPhone, there wasn't a smartphone in the world, right? So I think Apple exists, like the first smartphone, was it 2007 or so? End of 2007?
Apple's, maybe.
Yeah, so I think it's...
I don't use an iPhone. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember when I was in university, we had no... it came basically around... And, it was in school, there was no smartphone. And I think this is what we sometimes forget, how fast-paced everything is. That that smartphones only exist since 12 years.
Yeah,
and that was not kind of thought through in that moment when it didn't exist. So a lot of things change, and we need to adapt to the change and change our systems with it. So we definitely think that we're going away from the session-based thinking to more user-based thinking, right? So this is like something which is still ingrained, because that moment of time when it started to be important, and we had only sessions, right? We had hits and sessions only, and now we're moving away from that and having another model. But this is something which is ongoing. This change of environment and the adaptation towards it is always, who is one step ahead, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we had like we just said with mobile, they already exist for 80 years.
Yeah.
but in digital, we have so much more data, and we can do so much more with it. And like things like machine learning or AI, we now have the data to do that. But we have to grow up fast to actually do something useful with it, and handle the data and tag it correctly.
Yeah, it's not about only gathering, but what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how can you make smart decisions upon that? And
Yeah.
I think this is also the inspirational part, which I wanted to bring in. That just giving examples of how it can be used and how people actually use that, and maybe people go away with this inspiration and create something else themselves for themselves.
Yeah.
The next step.
And I'm wondering, because you described basically a campaign that cost about 200K, you said?
Yeah.
Is it Google's goal to reduce the cost of such a campaign like as fast as possible, so as much companies as possible can use it? Or is that...
It's always about the user, or in this case also the customer. So it should be something you think it's useful for you, and it can bring the most outcome for you, either as an advertiser or as a user. So yes, it is in the sense that you make it most profitable for your company, and you can talk to as many people about your great product you have in the best way. So reach the right person at the right time. In the best manner you can do, right? So, and this is something which I think if you see this kind of ad, you won't feel offended or something.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, this is great, actually, right? So it's helpful for me as a user as I see this ad, but also helpful for the advertiser, because he can make
smarter decisions.
Yeah. And giving everyone this information, basically by predicting it, he can add actually this information towards his his database of users, right? So,
but is there like sort of a time frame for when your local butcher shop can use something like this?
Right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right
well,
now.
in theory, right now. But I mean, when it's cost effective for them as well.
Yeah.
Is there sort of a time frame?
I mean, obviously, this is also individual
Really new.
decisions.
Yeah, of course.
and really new, definitely. I think in smaller countries like Netherlands, you see a lot of innovation happening already, which I think are fantastic. You have a lot of data already, which is online available for, even if I move my house. I mean, in other countries like in Germany, you would have to go to 5 different town halls to say I moved, and then you have to talk to your electricity provider, to your telephone provider, etc., etc. But in Netherlands, I move, and it's on my DG ID, and it's actually my insurance is updated, my like gas bills updated. It's like a lot of things are much more streamlined. So I feel in that moment actually this is helping me, right? Instead of when I move and I have to maybe I forget even 2 or 3 points, and then bills end up in the old address and all this. So if used in the right way, I think smart data can really add value to someone's life. And for me personally, I think this was very helpful to see how different countries actually manage this kind of information and how to make it in the most useful way. And I was positively surprised by the flexibility, and also like how fluid this whole information flow was. So I really liked. In terms of smart data, kind of way how you use this. Yes, it's in the wrong hands, every technology can be misused, but I think in the right hands it can give a lot of value. And it's the same with any technology. I think I can give you a Ferrari, but if you don't learn to drive and you put that one against the tree, I mean, there's also the kind of responsibility of you in the driver's seat to learn to drive properly. That great technology, right? So I think this is always the debate, how to make the data smart and how to make it in the best way.
That's a good point to all think about, I think. WeiWi, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
for your session.
Thank you.
I'd say have fun the rest of the day.
Yes, thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.